LaVar Arrington's in the building, and now we're joined by former Pro Bowl running back and long strider himself, Robert Smith. Let's move to Dallas, where the Cowboys and Dak Prescott still haven't agreed on a new deal, but now a Cowboy legend is weighing in. Michael Irvin claiming that the team owes Dak, quote, back pay, since they've gotten so much out of him the last 4 seasons, but actually paid the former 4th-round pick less than $5 million. Ooh, Robert, coming to you first. You think this should play a role in Dak's negotiations?
It should play a role in negotiations. I mean, this is what you do as a player. This is what you do as an agent. You use everything at your disposal to try and get more money, right? That's what we always try and do. Now, let's be realistic, though, and look at what the Cowboys have done in the past with the contracts that they've given out and, you know, what you can realistically expect. Those may be different things. And, you know, obviously Dak and his agent, they're going to say, look at, you know, with the rookie wage scale, the way that it is, you guys underpaid him. You could have extended him. Or you could have done all these different things. But then the Cowboys are going to say, well, all right, well, you were 1-6 against playoff teams. And, you know, they're going to use everything negative that they can. But, hey, that's part of it, right? It's never personal. It's always business.
Yeah, it definitely should play a role in his negotiations. Listen, he has outplayed his contract. It's a rookie contract, though. So let's be clear on this. That's what it is. Like, that's standard. It's not like they negotiated a contract that he's outplayed in his second contract or third contract. But, yes, he has outplayed his rookie contract. Now, when you talk about should there be back pay or how big a deal should that be, he's been offered a tender that he's not signed yet. And they have not rescinded the tender yet. And that's $31 million. All right? You're talking about someone who's in their rookie contract made just over $2 million in the season. So my biggest question is, when Mike Irvin says that, sure, I don't disagree with what he's saying, but what's that number? Where does it become you got paid your back pay? Because last I checked, I need a calculator to figure out what the percentage markup on your raise would be getting a $31 million raise with the tender. So where do we stop? What is back pay here? Because for me, if I was making $2 million back pay, give me $5 million and we good. You know, where we at here, right? But Marcellus, honestly, I just need to know, like, is it 40 million? Is it 39? Is it 41? What is it?
You know what? To answer what it is, first we have to have the conversation of, is he owed back pay? And let's just be real about this. There is a line item for back pay when it comes up in new and future contract situations. This is an age-old issue in the NFL. It's just Dak is really highlighting it because of how excessively good he played on how excessively bad he was compensated. That's where this conversation comes up. It's not reparations for Dak. We ain't going that damn far, but we understand that, hey, man, you're a 4th rounder who's made under less than $5 million in terms of compensation, and you sure have given us more than $5 million in terms of performance. So let's talk about some of those line items. We've all seen them before. It starts with production, but it doesn't end there. They start talking about your age, and then they get into trust and likability, and then are we indebted to this guy? Let's be real about this. Jimmy G has never been the best quarterback in the NFL, let alone the best player, but he was once the highest paid player ever. Russell Wilson, who I truly respect and think is top 5, is not number 1, wasn't number 1, but is now the highest paid player. So it's always been this roller coaster in terms of compensation, but really an understanding of all the other inputs and line items that contribute to what that compensation is.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about Dak and the position in general. You know, I heard Urban talk about this last week in reference to college football and, you know, say it's a quarterback league. It's a quarterback sport, okay? And when you have a guy like Dak that's come in and he's outperformed expectations, sure, he's going to say, I want something more. I want some of that back pay. But again, It's always a negotiation, right? I don't even know. I don't know what that number is. And we hear so many stories. Yeah, he turned down this and he was offered that. And then somebody comes back and says, well, no, that wasn't really true. He wasn't really offered that. We don't really know what those conversations have been. We don't know what he's turned down in the past. We don't know if he didn't accept some sort of extension in the past that would have gotten him out of that rookie wage scale contract. We just don't know. But I know this. The man's been incredible. I loved watching him play at Mississippi State. He definitely has outperformed my expectations. You know, in that system that he ran at Mississippi State, more of a runner, and he's been one of the best deep ball passers in the league and reliable there. One of only 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league that have started every game over the last 4 years. And we know more than anything else at the quarterback position, it's about consistency and it's about reliability.
I love everything you guys have said, but I just have to reiterate this one more time. He's made just over $2 million this past season. We may not know what has been offered, and I'm not a hater, I promise. I'm not hating. But the tender on the table is for $31 million. Will you agree with me that we know that figure is $31 million? That is a whole lot of millions in between that 2 and that 31. So all I'm saying is how much back pay are we seeking here with the regular pay that you're seeking with this new contract? That's all I'm looking for on this. I mean, he has played well. He has outplayed the contract. But the reality here is, what is a realistic raise markup for his contract right now, today?
Look, I'm going to tell you like this, simple and short. Dak's going to get paid more than he's worth. I already told you the reasons why. When my contract was up, my first one as a free agent, I got the second highest amount for defensive ends. Let me give you guys a little insight. I wasn't the second best defensive end. It doesn't have to correlate exactly, guys. So let's talk about the quarterback that I mentioned before, Jimmy G. And despite getting to the Super Bowl last year, there are still doubts about Jimmy G. And there were even some reports this offseason that the 49ers might be looking to trade him. But head coach Kyle Shanahan is trying to put all those doubts to rest, saying he thinks Jimmy G can be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Robert, do you have an issue with Shanahan saying this?
No, I don't have an issue with it at all. And let's remember, when the coaches have these press conferences, they're not just talking to the media. They're talking to their players. They're talking to the fans. And he wants Jimmy to have that pressure. Now, he said, look, if we can do the things around him and if he has the ability, then he can be one of the greatest ever. And how are quarterbacks measured? Ultimately, it's by wins and titles, right? And he came very close last year, had his opportunities, missed that throw. And part of this may be just that throw. Think about that throw with 1:30 in that Super Bowl. He makes that completion right there. We might be talking about something completely different right now. So I think this is Kyle Shanahan saying, I want this guy to have the pressure because I know that he wants that pressure. And he said that. I know Jimmy. He knows him, and he knows that saying something like this puts that extra pressure on him. Then it's about preparation, and then it's also about the people around him. Do you want this to be one of the historic, or do you want this team moving forward to be what the 49ers were in the past with Joe Montana, with Steve Young? I mean, you get that type of focus as a team around him, then he becomes the greatest by those results.
Yes, I have a problem with it because it's gassing him up. You're gassing him up, and you know he ain't the best ever. You know he don't have the chance to be the greatest ever. Your dad coached one of the greatest ever. You grew up seeing John Elway play. You know what greatest ever looks like. Come on. I sit there. I have moments of declaration with my children every single day. I tell them that the sky is the limit. All right. I tell them what they can accomplish, how beautiful they are, how great their personalities are. And some of the things that I'm telling them, I know they ain't that just yet. It may never be that. But I'm going to gas them up because you know what? If you aim for the sun and the moon, If you come up short, you're going to hit the stars, right? So for me, I have a problem with this. He's not a child, all right? Here's the deciding factor for me. I know people have had problems with Jimmy G and have put him out there. I know people look at how the offense was played in the Super Bowl and if Jimmy G was going to be the greatest ever. I know he missed that pass, but you went into total preservation mode on trying not to lose the game versus trying to win the game in the Super Bowl. Everybody uses it as an argument, all of the speculation. All I'm saying is the only reason why I have a problem with this is that is a grown-ass man that we're talking about, and you don't need the baby step on saying if you want to be the greatest, be the greatest. I'd rather him say, if you want to be the greatest, Jimmy G. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Shanahan got me torn over here because I hear what he's doing. I see the dad in him coming out, like you said, LaVar. But, hey, Coach, actions speak louder than words. You had a chance to show us that this guy has GOAT potential by trusting him in the fourth quarter. Despite the missed throws, you still could have trusted in him even more so if he has GOAT potential in your head. But for everybody out there, the reason why I don't like these comments is because a lot of times we get focused on a goal and the macro of the goal. And you're supposed to really focus in on the micro of the goal, baby steps. How about Jimmy G just, I don't know, be the best in his own damn division? Let's start there. We're not even talking about one of the greatest of all time. How about there's a 4-team division and he's not even number one yet? So we understand where you're trying to get him to, but wow, the pulling of Jimmy G in terms of this level of pressure and the level of criticism that's coming with it, I think was just unnecessary. So as I look at football, especially the quarterback position, the GOATs are not announced. They just arrive. Joe Montana, 3rd rounder. Oh, damn, look at Joe Montana. Tom Brady, 6th rounder.
Take it.
You wouldn't have bet on him early. Oh, my God, look at him. He's the GOAT. If Jimmy G's going to be there, if he's going to get to the top of that mountain, it's not going to be because you at the bottom yelling he's going to get up there. It's going to be because of him getting it with his own muscle and climbing that mountain.